All right, so we're here with Kevin Lyman, the creator of the Warped Tour, the Taste of Chaos Tour, and now the brand new Country Throwdown Tour. Kevin, how you doing?
I'm good. It's cool. It's kind of cool. We're kind of in Southern California, so it's kind of fun to bring this show to Southern California. And it's funny how many like the punk crews hanging out, going, "This country stuff's pretty cool."
Oh yeah. Look, you know, you'd mentioned that this tour was exciting for you because you felt like it was like starting from scratch, like how the Warped Tour was back in the early 90s.
Yeah, I mean, we're sitting here in Irvine, and we used to play that little plaza. The first year in '95, we played the little plaza up there with the concession stands, and you know, a little bigger, but you know, it does feel like I've learned a lot. I mean, if you know, I've challenged. You know, I'm 49 years old now, and it's all of a sudden I'm like completely challenged in a whole different way. You know, and it's cool. I love this music, and I just like the people. The people. It feels like there's a whole movement in country coming, and this little more youthful country vibe.
Well, what gave you the idea to get into country of all things?
Well, I did 9 years ago. I did Down from the Mountain, Oh Brother Where Art Thou. I produced a live tour around the soundtrack of that album, which was pretty successful. But been thinking about it. But you know, I was sitting in the campgrounds at Coachella, or Stagecoach.
Yeah.
3 years ago, I was in the campgrounds, and I looked at the audience, and I go, man, 40% of these people look like someone that I could see at the Warped Tour or somewhere else. They're wearing Vans, DC. They're wearing Hurley. They're just out listening to music. They're a little more youthful movement. And I was just talking to Eric Church, and we're talking about in college kids, it's not a bum out to wear a country T-shirt anymore. You know, you might be looked at in a downcast way at one point when you were a country artist while you were in college, but now you know, these guys are rocking. I mean, Montgomery Gentry comes out to Crazy Town from Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
See, that I did not know.
Yeah.
So how did you get your start in concert promotion and development?
Well, I worked in college, and then at Cal Poly Pomona, and then I worked for many years in the clubs of LA, early Golden Voice. So it's kind of, with Golden Voice, who, it's funny, we were hanging out, Paul Tollett, who does Coachella and Stagecoach, he was at the show yesterday, and our mentor, Gary Tovar, kind of was, the guy who brought all the punk bands to LA, back when I started out, anywhere from Circle Jerks to Addicts, GBH, everyone, and he taught us kind of think how to do really cool shows at a good price, fun value, expect something different.
Look, see, that's also what's important about these package tours you do, is that you really get the bang for the buck. Is that something that you feel is like a big, important fundamental?
Yeah, I think that's the secret of my success. And some people give me a hard time because sometimes I take corporate sponsorship to make this happen. Yeah. But when you think about the show I give people, you need this kind of money to help make it happen.
All right. Well, here's my question. How do you top yourself over and over again? Like, how do you keep coming up with better and better ideas as the years come on? Like, where do they come from?
Fear. Fear. I'm over 45 years old, and I couldn't go get a job if I had to, That's a sad thing. I think for me, it's like pushing myself, but it's also not settling. Like, the reason I don't work in the clubs anymore, because when I worked in those clubs, I never wanted to become that guy. And everyone knows that guy. You know that guy? Like when you go to a club and he's bumming your night out, the security guard, the sound man, some person in that venue when your heart's into music, and I didn't want to become that guy. So I'm glad that even today I can be excited about being here to produce this show for people. And you stand there and there's going to be a goosebump moment. And today there was a couple of them. When Heidi Neufeld crowd surfed, or when I walk over to the stage and you got Jack Ingram bringing all the other artists on stage. It's a goosebump moment. And the day the goosebumps go away is the day to get out of the business.
That's a good point. So, what are your top 10 bands, new bands that you like nowadays?
I don't know, It's crazy because I'm listening to this, and it's funny how I can sing along to Jonathan Singleton or Emily West, and Thursday I got to go out on the Warped Tour, and all of a sudden I'm going to be like into, trying to check out what's going on out there. So it's going to be a little bit of a transition this year, This tour is a little strange because it's been a tour of kind of touring with adults.
Yeah. Which
Warped Tour, we're touring with a bunch of kids now. They're not my peers anymore. But I'm looking forward to coming. I don't even know what I'm listening to right now. I've got demo tapes all over my car. It's like whatever I'm grabbing, I might, I like the new Michael Frente song, some of the stuff he's doing. I just got some new stuff from him. But you know, I'll lose that CD, but in 2 days I'll lose it and then start playing something else.
It's kind of amazing. So you got to give us your best, you know, anecdote from one of your tours that you put together. Like, what's something that's crazy or hilarious that's happened?
I don't know. You laugh so much every day, and you cry some days. So I don't know the best anecdote. It's weird because everything's kind of new to me all the time. You know, I have this story of the parking lot, and I'll walk by, I think, and the best anecdote of today's show, there's a plaque, and you guys should shoot that. It's right down by the light pole.
Yeah.
And it's about the guy, one of the first people that was ever nice to me in this business.
Oh, really?
And he was the security guy back here at this back door. And John, way back when, Howard Jones brought me, he did a show at my college, and they said, come down here. And his name was Pat, and Pat was one of the first guys that ever told me that I think I see it in your eyes and your heart that you're going to do good in this business. Yeah. And he died, I don't know, 1992. Yeah. And when I walked by that, I just can totally visualize him being there. So that's like a best antidote now.
So where is that pole?
It's right over by the loading dock. If you walk around where the trucks are parked, right on the light pole over there, check out Big Pat. And it was crazy. Big Pat, he lived a crazy life. He was a security guy, sweetest heart. But, you know, he died, you know, doing what he loved. And he had just done a Bon Jovi show. Went to a party with Bon Jovi, which he probably did stuff he wasn't supposed to do at 45 years old. And he blew his heart up and he died. But you know what? He died what he loved to do. And I walked by that pole over there and I'm like showing people all day. This guy was one of the first people that was ever nice to me.
We're going to have to check out that pole.
Yeah.
All right, so last question. Are you an iPhone guy or a BlackBerry guy?
I'm the fucking 6th BlackBerry in 5 months. Really? This is the problem. I got a BlackBerry 2 days ago, and it kept zoning out. Well, and so I went back and bought a new one, or they gave me a new one. Yeah. Then all of a sudden yesterday it started recycling emails. So I went to bed with 6 emails and woke up with 825, but they were the same 30 over and over. I'm about ready to switch.
See, I always pictured you as an iPhone guy. It's kind of funny.
Nah, you know, I got iPhone people around me. So when you need them to find something, they're all Google. All I need with my phone is communication.
Good point.
When I need a restaurant, when I need to know a top 10 song, I got people with iPhones that can do that for me.
Not bad.
So cool. Thanks. Thanks for checking out the show.
Hey, thank you for having us.
No problem. Thank you. You guys, you always talk about things in music. Right here. Patrick Jafarno, he was one of the first people in music that ever gave me a chance. And hey, God bless you, Pat. You let me do this every day of my life. Thank you.
I know a girl, she was a waitress. Had a big spirit till she let her boyfriend